ഇവിടെ ധ്രുവന്റെ കഥയിലൂടെ സോഷ്യലായിട്ടുള്ള ഇംപ്ലിക്കേഷൻസിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ട് സംസാരിച്ചു. പിന്നെ നമുക്ക് വേറൊരു പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് കൂടി ഇതിലേക്ക് കാണാം. നമുക്ക് സാധാരണ നമ്മളൊക്കെ രണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ, അതായത് വി ആർ ഓൾവേസ് ഓസിലേറ്റിംഗ് ബിറ്റ്വീൻ ദ പാത്ത് ഓഫ് ദ പ്ലഷർ ആൻഡ് പാത്ത് ഓഫ് ഗുഡ്. ശ്രേയസും പ്രേയസും എന്ന് പറയും. പാത്ത് ഓഫ് പ്ലഷർ ഈസ് പ്രേയസ് ആൻഡ് ദ പാത്ത് ഓഫ് ഗുഡ് ഇസ് ശ്രേയസ്. അത് they are actually spread out two different directions, and we always tend to fall between these two extremes. We are oscillating between this emotional spectrum. We prevaricate between these conditions. അപ്പോൾ ഇതിൽ ഈ path of pleasure എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് it is defined by the taste for pleasure and gratification, arrogance and flamboyance and such glories in life, instant pleasures, shortcuts. അതാണ് നമ്മുടെ taste for these things called as the path of pleasure. And then there is this path for goodness, or which is defined by the prudence of goodness, fortitude, humility, austerity and selflessness. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള നല്ല ക്വാളിറ്റീസിൻ്റെ ഒരു ടേസ്റ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു prudence. Your discriminative intelligence that allows you to take the right path. അങ്ങനെയുള്ള രണ്ട് കണ്ടീഷൻസിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ നമ്മൾ കഴിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. And when we are actually run by the taste, or the result of this taste is that we have a gross intellect that is always thinking that this is what I am looking for, this is perfect for me. Whereas this other path, which is a subtle intellectual decision making capability within us, is cultivated only through this what you call as a stable mind, and which requires you to be really determined and focused. ഇതാണ് നമ്മുടെ കണ്ടീഷൻ. And if we look at this, our mind actually asks us to, it pulls us back to the path of pleasure sometimes, and ഇതിങ്ങനെ എപ്പോഴും നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സംഗതിയാണ്. മനസ്സാണ് നമ്മളെ ഇതിനെ ഓസിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യിക്കാനായിട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. മനസ്സ് പറയും ഇത് ശരിയല്ല എങ്കിലും പലപ്പോഴും പലരും ഒരു 90% ആൾക്കാരും പാത്ത് ഓഫ് പ്ലഷറിലേക്ക് വീണുപോവുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. If you want to be determined and fixed on the path of goodness, then we need to actually have a steady mind. From unsteadiness, we need to grow to steadiness through the practice of disciplines, austerity and persistence. ആ ഒരു ഡിസിപ്ലിൻ, സ്ട്രക്ചർ, ഇതിലൂടെ മാത്രമേ നമുക്ക് ആ ഒരു വഴിയിലേക്ക് പോകാനായിട്ട് സാധിക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. ഈ പ്ലഷറിൻ്റെ പാത്തിൽ നമ്മൾ അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന സുഖങ്ങളൊക്കെ സാധാരണ വളരെ ഷോർട്ടിലൂടെ ആയിരിക്കും. കാരണം നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഐസ്ക്രീം കഴിക്കണം എന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു, ഒരു ഐസ്ക്രീം മൂന്നാമത്തെ ഐസ്ക്രീം എത്തുമ്പോഴേക്കും നമുക്ക് മതിയായി തുടങ്ങും. ബിക്കോസ് the senses are getting satiated very fast. This is the problem, that it is killed in the fire of the senses, our tendencies for the pleasures, and the തെറ്റ് ചെയ്തതിലുള്ള ഇഗ്നറൻസ് കൊണ്ടുള്ള അതിനുള്ള ഗിൽറ്റ്. ഈ ഗിൽറ്റിന്റെ ഗോസ് ആണ് നമ്മളെ കൊല്ലുന്നത്. അതായത് we are actually we are down with this prick of conscience. ഇത് ഇങ്ങനെ സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. നേരെ മറിച്ച് if it is on the other side, then what happens is sustainable success through our discipline and structure is basically what results. And this is what is called as the touch of the self. Touch of the pleasures ആണ് മറ്റേ ഇവിടെ വരുന്നത്. ഇത് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മളുടെ മനസ്സ്, ബുദ്ധി, ശരീരത്തിൻ്റെ സുഖങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ടെൻഡൻസി. വെറാസ് നമ്മളുടെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള, അപ്പം നേരത്തെ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം മുതൽ കേട്ടിരുന്നു, നമ്മളുടെ ഉള്ളിലുള്ള that infinite capabilities, the power that can definitely give us this infinite power, capabilities is that self, the power of the self. What is that self? അതിൻ്റെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് ഒക്കെ ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മളിവിടെ പറയുന്നില്ല. These are something that the Pattern Institute will make the youngsters understand the power of the self through understanding what the self is. So that power of the self is basically what results in this discipline, austerity and persistence that helps us to become determined and focused in life. That gives us lasting happiness and results in stardom in life. In fact, നമ്മളുടെയൊക്കെ പ്രൊഫഷൻസിൽ എല്ലാം നമുക്ക് most of the people, like about 80% of the people are run by path of pleasures, whereas only 10 to 15% of stars in professional workplaces are run by the qualities that determine stardom in workplaces. Stars in the workplaces. There are lots of research that has happened in the last 25 years, 20 years specifically, where they have defined the characteristics that will make you a star in professions. In fact, there is a professor, Robert Kelly in Carnegie Mellon University, who has conducted lots of research in this area, especially for thought-powered professionals. And he has come out with a set of capabilities and you can call it as strategies that can make you successful in professional thought-powered workplaces. And if you actually drain the essence of this, you can find that some of the eternal value systems that our Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita gives us is exactly the same. And we have conducted lots of research on this and have mapped these strategies into workplace strategies in the thought-powered workplaces. So such people who understand these strategies and the essence of it, and they start applying this in the workplace, they can definitely rise to stardom in the workplace. Especially when you join a workplace at year 25, within 5 years, you can, if you apply these strategies, these people will move ahead, and specifically 2 or 3 steps ahead of the others. That I've seen that personally. I've seen it happen. I've experienced it personally, and that is the reason why I'm standing here and confidently telling you that these strategies work. And on this day of Gita Jayanti Day, I thought I will fix this day today because of the fact that these strategies which have really worked and works, and I've seen it happen, I wanted to and even a professor like Professor Mahadevan, I wanted him to be here because he is one person who is who is actually giving this knowledge to our youth in India through his courses for his MBA program in the Indian Institute of Management. So he will definitely be talking to us about this after a few minutes from now. Before that, I would like Dr. Krishnan here, who will be introduced by our Master of Ceremonies, who is going to talk about the apparatus which helps us to become like this. The apparatus. What is the science behind this phenomena that is taking place here in the outside world in terms of these kind of strategies and emotions and patterns of behavior, etc. And hopefully that is going to give you some amount of some clue as to how we can shape the minds of our children and the strategies and practices that we can apply in life. So without going too much into that, before that, actually I would like to, why I actually gave this picture here is, you look at this picture. This is called as Uttanapāda. The names are very important. The story in the story that we just heard, all the names can be mapped into this. Just mapping into this. You can think about it. I will just give the mapping. Uttanapāda here. Taste for pleasure, Suruchi. Taste for the prudence for goodness, Sunidhi. And then we have the Uttama, who is who considers himself as lucky. And then there is Dhruva, firm and determined. And the mind, Narada, rigorous practices, austerities. Uttama killed by Yaksha, conscience, proprieties. Suriji killed by sense, the fire, the forest fire. Suniti is long-lived happiness. Stardom of Dhruva. That's the story. In fact, all the stories of the Bhagavata Purana, and also there are lots of poetries and other things. Shakespeare's dramas and all of these things. If you study deeply, you will find lots of analogies. Just by ferreting out these analogies from these stories, as well as the poetry, etc., is a tremendous exercise of the mind to help build these long dendrites in the human brain, which helps them to become more and more creative. In fact, Pattern Institute is also engaged in writing these stories as a book with mapping, detailed mapping of the characters and the situation. And if you study about 10 of those stories in let's say 5 or 6 years from the age 12 to 15, let's say, or 10 to 15, deeply and understand that, their mind would have changed. in the sense that whatever subject they study, they will be always looking at connections with the outside world and for solutions to problems. So solutions to the problem space, that kind of thought process can be, built in the human minds. And Pattern Institute is going to be engaged in such activities. It is not a futuristic activity. We have been doing that for the last 10 to 15 years, or 20 years actually, as of now 20 years, with lots of children, expatriate children in Dubai. And I have found a tremendous amount of creative spurt in smaller minds. And there are lots of physical examples which I can give, which is something which, if you get connected with Pattern Institute, we will actually show you how these things work. So Dr. Krishnan now will be called, and he will be talking about the neuroscience behind this creative approach and the philosophies that are built to exploit that.